I've seen the original map of Sykes-Picot in the British Archive here in Kews Garden, and it shocked me how the line was drawn, then erased,
Yeah.
then another line was drawn, and you can still see it. So between Egypt and between Syria and Jordan, if the line was a little higher in some places and a little lower, it actually has shaped who is a Jordanian. And the geography professor at the university where I studied in Scotland used to talk about how Jordan was drawn with a ruler.
Yeah.
You know, and
The
actually,
straight long lines
Yeah.
for certain places. Yeah.
and you see this also across North Africa.
Mm.
You see this across the whole of the Muslim world. These identities are being shaped, and these then becomes the motherland, the homeland,
Mm.
the watan, and it is based on this colonialist ideology. This was never part, Arab nationalism and Turkish nationalism was never part of our experience. It was imported from the West. The idea of nation states following the French Revolution. Then you have Arab nationalism, and this was a shock to me. Arab nationalism actually was not established in Damascus or in Arabia. It was in the cafes of Paris. The same with Turkish nationalism. So they forced these ideas upon us, and this became part of modernity and being civilized and so on. And they established these nation states and they established these nationalisms that actually took us away from what Allah has established. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in his final sermon, he said, "You're all equal." And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "This is your ummah, one ummah, and I am your Lord, worship me." And now Britain and France and the colonialists say, "No, you're this and that," and their words become, so it's a new idol that we have created in our hearts and minds. Flags, the way these flags have been drawn is another, actually it makes one question a lot of his identity today. Mark Sykes had 20 minutes to draft the flag that he sent to Sharif Hussein, and they were done in Cairo and sent off to Sharif Hussein to fight against the Ottomans, and these are your flags. And this is what makes all the Arab, they're just variations
Yeah.
of this.
The same colors just being used in slight. I mean, the best one I think is Jordan, where it's just an additional star on the Palestinian flag. It's,
Yes. But this just shows you, we're laughing about this, but this is actually how deep what we call the intellectual Nakba.
Mm.
And the intellectual Nakba is much worse than the Nakba of occupying the land. You figure out when your land was occupied, and that makes sense because the Zionists came in. They went into 500 cities and villages and ethnically cleansed people. But actually, the Nakba of the land was not started in 1948. It started in 1917 when the British came and occupied Palestine. And we tend to skip this. The reason is because of the complicity of the Muslims in the first Nakba. So we don't call it the Nakba, the occupation of the British. We welcome them. They were our saviors. Like with the Iraq War, many Iraqis welcomed the Americans and the British occupying their land. So the same happened in December 1917. People saw the British as their saviors. Only a few years later to wake up from this and understand that they're coming here for another reason. And the same with Iraq. We only wake up after the death of 1 million Iraqis. So the Nakba of the occupation of the land is 1917, but the Nakba of the occupation of the mind started with this disease of nation states and nationalism